cultures, and various geographical locations in the changes in dietary patterns that occur during Ramadan. Best foods to be eaten in pre-dawn meals sahur are chapati, lentil soup, eggs, cheese, bread, rice, salad, cooked vegetables, meat, breads, cereals, dates, green salad, dips, meat soup, pastries, curry puff. And the foods that are better for iftar are salads, bread, rice, meat, fish, lentils, potato cakes, khichdi, rice, lentils, onions, garlic, ginger, dried fruits cooked with fresh apple and pear spices, stuffed vegetables, green leafy vegetables, kebabs, rice, salad, meat, beans, rice, curry, vegetables, extra. Then, micronutrient and the energy intake. Ramadan fasting has a unique effect on dietary habits, whereby changes in the composition of meals eaten directly affect nutrient and the energy intake for a period of month. With diabetes and cardiovascular diseases being widely prevalent in Muslim communities, it is important to elucidate the extent of effect Ramadan fasting has known nutrient and energy intake and the metabolic consequences of such changes. When comparing nutrient intake, some studies have found an increased intake of fat during Ramadan fasting. In a cross-sectional study involving 173 Saudi families that reported weight gain during Ramadan, it was found that 40% of subjects attributed the weight gain to be increased consumption of foods rich in fats and carbohydrates. However, other studies suggest that there is a decrease in fat intake during Ramadan fasting. These equivocal results on fat intake must be interpreted with caution. As such, these differences may be of marginal longer-term metabolic relevance. The observed differences in the nutrient intake suggest that meal compositions are different across countries and cultures. While the pre-dawn meals consisted of food that was usually eaten at breakfast, the meals at the breaking of fast seem to much more variable. Calorie intake is also affected by the modifications in timing and composition of the food eaten, with a general trend in the first week from dawn towards a reduction in calorie intake, followed by a progressive increase through overconsumption. However, a study by Al-Horani and Odom on 57 female subjects found that the average energy and nutrient intakes before and during Ramadan were not significantly different, with these results being consistent with many other studies, contrary to the idea that those who fast tend to consume more food than usual when breaking fast. In that, some studies did show increases in total energy intake during Ramadan, including in Saudi, Moroccan, Iranian, and Turkish subjects, whereas other studies found a significant decrease in energy intake. These contradictory results can again be attributed to unique food habits of different countries and cultures. In short, all the energy levels are depend upon the food that is eaten by the people in sahur and iftar. Now, changes in the body composition. Since the food intake pattern is significantly altered, whereby food intake is restricted for about 12 hours, the fundamental question is whether this time restricted feeding affects body composition and metabolic outcomes. In this subsequent section, we will discuss differences in body composition during Ramadan fasting compared with the other times. The effect of Ramadan fasting on body mass and body fat percentage show heterogeneous results, with some indicating decreases in body mass and body fat percentage, whereas others show no changes in body composition. The heterogeneity of these results can be explained by various factors of the participants. We have therefore listed the findings as per various subgroups listed below. Normal weight people. The factor from Ramadan fasting on body composition and body mass depends largely on the energy intake and the expenditure of the subjects during Ramadan period. In a study weightlessness, it was observed that 11 Qatari males of normal weight showed similar total daily energy expenditure before, during, and after the month of the Ramadan. As a result, there was no significant change in body mass or composition reported. Similarly, Harder Ludvigsen studied 10 men of normal weight in Denmark and found no change in body mass or composition before or after the Ramadan. The maintenance of body composition was found to be due to the balance in total energy intake and energy expenditure by the participants. However, a number of studies showed that by 4 to 5 weeks after the Ramadan, the decrease in body weight and fat percentage had returned to be pre-Ramadan levels. A similar trend of decreases in body fat percentage was noticed in most studies investigating the effect of Ramadan fasting on body composition in physically active individuals. The decrease in body fat percentage is likely due to the increased utilization of stored body fat as an energy substrate. It can be observed from the results that there is a more consistent link between the Ramadan fasting and an improvement in the body composition in physically active individuals. This shows that physical activity is an important part of energy expenditure during Ramadan fasting and suggests that the greatest benefit from the fasting regime can only be obtained when volunteers undertake Ramadan fasting in combination with physical activity. Other factors could also play a role in determining the effect of Ramadan fasting on body composition and mass, including gender and age. Now we'll discuss about the overweight and the obese people. Ramadan fasting is often practiced as a lifestyle modifier in tackling obesity among Muslim communities. The decreased frequency of meals is expected to result in lower calorie intake and eventual weight loss at the end of the Ramadan. However, the effect of Ramadan fasting on the body weight and composition of obese individuals is heterogeneous, with some studies showing a loss in body weight only, whereas other studies show a change in body fat percentage as well. These heterogeneity in the findings could be due to different dietary habits between different cultures during the month of Ramadan. In a study where a medium calorie balanced diet was prescribed to 28 overweight males during the month of Ramadan, fasting resulted in a significant decrease in the body weight, indicating that the composition of diet is important. Furthermore, a meta-analysis of 70 publications by Fernando showed that there was a significant positive correlation between starting Ramadan and fasting and loss of weight during Ramadan. Therefore, Ramadan fasting results in weight loss amongst obese individuals with a possible effect on body fat percentage as well. However, the most studies showed that the changes in weight and body fat percentage in overweight and obese individuals are often transient and return to pre-Ramadan levels within a few weeks after the end of the Ramadan period. Metabolic parameters. In many regions of the world, notably Asia, the Middle East, and parts of Africa, many resistants are highly susceptible to pre-diabetes, and the cardiovascular diseases. Therefore, for the subsequent parts of this review, we will discuss how Ramadan fasting influences glucose and lipid metabolism before, during, and after the Ramadan with studies from various geographical locations and with distinct dietary and lifestyle habits. We will present data not only from healthy individuals but also those at the risk of various chronic conditions, obesity, type 2 diabetes, etc. Glucose homeostasis. Some studies shows that there is an increase in fasting blood glucose levels during Ramadan fasting period, while other studies shows decrease or no change. The increased fasting blood glucose levels in Thai women as shown by Angsara, in addition to their dietary change, may be due to the decreased frequency of exercise during and after Ramadan compared with before Ramadan. This is supported by research showing that exercise increases insulin sensitivity and glucose uptake into the peripheral tissues. A shift in the intake of carbohydrates from complex to more simple sugars could have also increased the levels of fasting blood glucose level. Now we'll discuss the lipid metabolism. Studies investigating the effect of Ramadan fasting on the lipid profile have been promising as most of them show improvements in high density lipoprotein and low density lipoproteins cholesterol levels after 1 month of the Ramadan. The increase in high density lipoprotein cholesterol levels can be explained by the postprandial lipemia changes that occur during Ramadan fasting. Since the amount of postprandial lipemia has been shown to be of great importance to lipid metabolism and high density lipoproteins levels in plasma, the larger magnitude and duration during the gorging meal, followed by longer absorptive free hours during fasting, results in a net balance that is more efficient in metabolism of triglycerides rich lipoproteins. This could be reason for observed increased plasma high density lipoprotein cholesterol levels in many of the studies. Beyond blood lipid profile, a systematic review investigating the effect of Ramadan fasting on cardiometabolic risk factors showed that generally the effects may be described as beneficial or neutral, although there were some exceptions. In fact, three studies investigating the effects of Ramadan fasting on blood pressure, a risk factor for cardiometabolic diseases, reported a significant drop in systolic blood pressure during Ramadan fasting, while most studies revealed no change in the blood pressure. In short, all the nutritional plan fails during Ramadan is that people do not take the food rich in fibers, carbohydrates, and vitamins in sahur, and the whole day they do not do exercise, but they tend to be rest the whole day. So we should avoid these all the habits and take vitamins, carbohydrates, and fibers rich food in sahur and after and iftar. All this is from my side.
Thank you so much, Miss Atia Noor, for sharing such a valuable tips and guiding us through this session. Let's give a huge hats off to the chairman of Royal Student Welfare Society, Sir Osama Chugtai, and patron-in-chief, Dr. Asad Chugtai. Your efforts are making a real difference in our community's health awareness and inspiring for everyone watching us today. A big thanks to Royal Student Welfare Society for organizing this amazing session and giving us the opportunity to learn and grow together and helping people by making positive changes in their lives. Your effort shows how much impact a dedicated group can make in creating a healthier and happier community. As a youth, as a new generation, it is our responsibility कि जो awareness ये platform हमें दे रहा है हम इसको pick करें. Thank you so much to all the viewers for joining us. We will see you in next series. Stay tuned.